Boomer Sooner, live at Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Welcome to the OU Huddle on the Sooner Sports Network from Learfield. Presented by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. Also brought to you by Riverwind Casino. Good times, great rewards. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. And by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. Now, here's the voice of the Sooners, Toby Rowland.
And welcome inside Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. It is the Huddle, Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Always happy to host Oklahoma Sooner Sports. In for Toby Rowland, the voice of the Sooners tonight, I'm Chad McKee. We've got you for the Huddle, and then we have Sooner Sports Talk. And tonight we're talking a full hour of gymnastics here on the Huddle from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. We've got men's gymnastics up first. We'll be joined by head coach Mark Williams in just a couple of moments. We have the junior Kelton Christensen with us. Assistant coach Valery Goncharov is going to join us in just a little bit as well. And later on, the second half hour, we talk to the top-ranked Sooner women's gymnastics team. And KJ Kindler is going to be here with a couple of student athletes as well. But it's great to have you braving the weather with us to watch the show tonight at Rudy's, and everybody tuning in television-wise and radio-wise. Our opening segment is presented by Community Coffee, family-owned Community Coffee, the official brewed coffee of OU Athletics. Taste the difference that family makes. So Kelton Christensen is with us. Kelton's team coming off a very narrow win. In fact, the past 2 weeks they've had very narrow wins over at McCaslin Fieldhouse. But Michigan and then Simpson College, the opponents this past weekend, it goes down to Emory Donnelly on the high bar on the final routine of the night. How exciting was it? Take us through kind of the drama and what unfolded there in the closing moments on Saturday.
Yeah, you know, going into high bar, we knew it was close. That's how it was against Stanford as well. I think it's really exciting. You know, you're going to that last event. It's high bar. We call it hype bar. You're getting excited. I mean, our high bar team has been really good this season, and going in, like, I'm never nervous to go into high bar because I know that we're going to be able to do what we always do on high bar and just, you know, hit, and that's what we need to do to get the job done. So.
Head coach Mark Williams is with us as well. Coach, rolling in here. I know there's traffic this time of the day.
No, I had a recruit that I was talking
That's
to.
Even
went a
more
little
important.
Longer.
Yeah. That's even more important. You know, he just said he wasn't nervous. He's never nervous on high bar. You've been doing this a long time. How nervous were you?
I'm nervous.
You're nervous.
I'd rather be going.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you have control then, but when you're watching, it's a little more nerve-wracking. You know they can do it, but, you know, lots of things happen. So, yeah, these guys are prepared so well that high bar has been a good finish event for us, and I had all the confidence after what we did in Stanford that we closed things out.
Let's talk about Stanford for just a moment. You had them in here. That was 2 weeks ago. First off, record crowd, wonderful environment, had a bunch of alums, Yul Moldauer, the Justice Brothers. Those guys are down there, right there on the floor with your athletes as they're going through things. Take us through just how fun a night and how, you know, rewarding that was to have all of the alums in here and get a win over the five-time defending national champs.
It was a great night. I mean, it was magical. It probably one of the top 5 events that I've been to as a coach here because of just how great the crowd was. Having everyone from Cleveland there and the alums, you know, it just was electric when guys landed, stuck. A high bar and both the 4 guys who stuck on rings, I think, were kind of the highlights for me. But, you know, Stanford's a very good team. We love the opportunity to compete against the best before we go to the national championships. And, you know, hopefully we're putting up there that, you know, we're going to be in contention this year.
Tell us about this young man, recruiting him, his journey to Oklahoma, and how much fun it's been to watch his development the last 3 or 4 years, Coach.
Well, it was really a surprise because he had committed to go to Boise State, and things kind of fell through for him there. And I just called him and was like, hey, why don't you come out and see if you can walk onto the team? So my expectations weren't particularly high at the time of his making the roster or even competing, but it became immediately clear that he was very determined, knew what he had to do to help us. His high bar got better and better, and immediately he started competing on high bar, and he's never left the lineup since.
Take us through that journey from your vantage point, Kelton. What's it been like coming to Oklahoma and working your way to being such an important part of the program?
I mean, it's been awesome to see the development from my freshman year getting here. You know, I was like a deer in headlights, just kind of taking it all in, one thing at a time, and definitely looking back on like where I was and where I am now. It's awesome to see like the improvement. So.
You are at the same club program, same hometown as the great Yul Moldauer, coming from Colorado. How much of an influence has he been? Does he continue to be on your gymnastics?
I mean, he's been a huge influence. He's one of the people I look up to the most. Training with him since I was 5 years old, so it's been, I think, really good. He's super humble, and he lets us, like, you know, develop on our own, but also kind of guides us both inside the gym and outside the gym. So,
what has been the key to your improvement in becoming? So is it just, as Coach Williams said, you're just determined? Don't take no for an answer?
Yeah, you know, I push myself to the best of my ability. I do all the things that I need to be doing in the gym, whether that be rehab, taking the turns I need to take, putting that pressure on myself in practice, and I think that all of that has been beneficial to my success here at OU.
Coach, this year, you know, we talked about the Still Rings lineup, how good it has been. Pommel Horse has certainly got better from where you were a season ago. Talk us through the high bar lineup, though, and how challenging it is to just make the high bar lineup. You've got a bunch of athletes that can do it.
We have a great high bar team right now, and we've got Fuzzy Bennett that's waiting his turn, and we'll have to make it. Like, we've got 4 guys that have been putting up great numbers. Last year we were a good high bar team, but I think this year we've done better in key situations to be our best. From, you know, Ohio State, where P-bars didn't go the way we wanted it to, and then, you know, Brandon comes in and just knocks it out, and the next 3 guys did great routines and closed out the routines so that we were, you know, stayed in the lead. And Stanford, it was down to the last guy. I mean, we had to have every tenth that we were getting up to that point. Having Emery go in that last spot, you know, he's been amazing. Currently, he's the only athlete that's ranked in the top 5 in 3 events in the NCAA. And again, you know, he's a key guy to us in our leadership. And Kelton actually put up the highest high bar score this past weekend, right? 14.05. Yeah. And I really actually considered having him be one of our captains this year. He's got that quality that guys recognize when he says something, there's meat to it. Like, he doesn't just tell you work harder or do this. Like, they listen because they see how hard he works in the gym every day.
Got to step aside for a quick timeout. We're talking with Kelton Christensen and Sooner men's gymnastics coach Mark Williams for just a few more moments. It is the Huddle coming to you on this chilly Monday night from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue in Norman.
The Huddle is brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality. Riverwind Casino, good times, great rewards. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. The Trails Golf Club of Norman, where you'll experience everything you love about golf and more.
As we come back from the break, wanted to touch on Oklahoma's coach. Head coach Mark Williams is in his 26th season as the head coach, and he has led the Sooners to 593 total victories, only 58 losses, and has 9 national championships and 18 MPSF conference titles since his first season in 2000.
Welcome back into the Huddle at Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue here in Norman. Easy mistake to make, but we're not going to make it tonight, right, Coach Williams?
That's my stunt double. That actually
yeah.
is an Olympic gold medalist, so I have no problem with him being me for a while.
And truth be told, we kind of started to make the same mistake on Saturday night as well. Do you guys get mistaken for each other from time to time, Coach Goncharov?
Well, listen, we hear this pretty often, like, guys, are you brothers? Like, no, but okay. Oh, you look so, like, almost same. Like, Okay,
Yeah.
we will take it.
We'll take it, right? We've got Sooner assistant coach Valery Goncharov joining us and head coach Mark Williams. This segment is presented by Riverwind Casino. Good times, great rewards. What is it like having this man, aside from looking a lot like you, a former gold medal winner with so much valuable experience on the staff with your student athletes, Coach Williams?
It's been amazing. It's from a different gymnastics system. So there's a lot that I can glean from his upbringing through what was kind of the Soviet system. Having been through national team in Ukraine, you know, they sometimes did things way different than we did. And he had to adjust a little bit to what we do in the NCAA. But I also, you know, I pick his brain about, hey, how'd you do these things, you know, and what separated you from some of the other countries, you know, what kinds of training methods and things like that. It's been awesome just to have his knowledge on, especially parallel bars, being an Olympic gold medalist there. Instant recognition by the guys on the team. Rustam Sharapov, which was a coach of mine, we were both looking for coaches at the same time. And I said, well, I've got Jamie Henderson, who's a guy that hasn't been at the college level. He'd be a great assistant. And I'm like, I'm looking for a first assistant. He goes, I got a guy. And so Rustam, being an Olympic gold medalist on parallel ball, also recommend that I talk to Valery, and it's worked out very well.
What has it been like for you coming and being on board with the Sooner gymnastics program?
Well, you know, before I came to OU, I worked in Texas in one of gymnastics club, and for me it was absolutely a new experience. I had no idea what is NCAA is, how it works at all, you know. And so Rustam called me first, as Mark just told me, listen, Mark Williams will call you, so you just need to talk. Well, okay. Then I spoke to Mark, and okay, do you want to come like to visit to see how it works? And okay, I came to watch. I was really impressed, you know, because I spent 17 years in the Ukrainian national team, you know, and I was like, Mark showed me whole campus, medical centers, academic centers, you know, gym, all of this. I was like, this is for students? I was okay. We don't have all of this even for national team. That's so, but the most important thing for me was when I stepped in the gym, you know, I just feel that spirit, you know, team spirit. I like, yeah, it smelled like big gymnastics. That's right spot for me.
What has been, from your perspective this year, the 4-up, 4-count format in collegiate gymnastics? It's a huge change. A lot of pressure. One little slip can mean the difference between winning and losing. I mean, one slip can do it. What's it been like from your vantage point to watch that?
Listen, from one side, kind of less opportunities for guys. We can say, yeah, probably it's not good. But from other side, gap between teams now smaller. And one small mistake can cost a lot. So that's why it's much more pressure now. Yeah, and we need to keep up with other teams. Some teams are supposed to keep up with us. And it's more interesting, let's say.
Yeah, it certainly has been. We've got Fuzzy Bennis in here somewhere tonight. He was going to be on the program. He was over here eating a moment ago, but to watch what he did this past week, he hasn't been in the lineup as he comes back from a thumb injury, goes down the vault ramp, sticks it, and wins the vault individual title. What can you say about him and the quality of gymnastics he can perform despite not being in the lineup all year?
Yeah, you know, I mean, he trained all the way up through Christmas, but his thumb just didn't get better. And you can see there's the vault that just came out of nowhere almost. But his thumb wasn't getting better, so they did the MRI and said, you're going to have surgery to reattach the ligament because it was completely torn. So he was definitely out through Christmas and then the surgery, and we expected 4 to 6 weeks. So last Monday, we didn't expect that they'd say you can compete right away. We thought, all right, give it another 2 weeks. And they said, floor and vault, do whatever you want, you're ready to go. And Tuesday, goes to vault, does that. And I'm like, how do we keep him out of the lineup when he can do that? You know, so we actually reworked things to get him in the lineup and decided to take him to Winter Cup even after scratching him earlier, thinking he wouldn't be able to go, so he could at least do floor and vault there and maybe get a position on the national team by doing at least 2 out of the 4 events.
Coach Williams has mentioned it there, Winter Cup. Coach Goncharov and you all will have. Now, Yul Moldauer will not be there, will not compete. Tosh Haidu will not go, but you have 4 other athletes who you all will take up there. What is the experience going to be like for them, including Fuzzy Bennis, coming up this weekend, Coach?
Well, so I feel like it's going to be a really great experience for them because this is all-American level, you know, and they're ready to show excellent work. We'll see how it will work, yeah, on that level.
So you will have Fuzzy, you will have Brigham Frenthaway, who will go. Tosh, we mentioned, will not. Ignacio Yacker is on the pommel horse, and then Kelton Christensen, who was just here, will be on the high bar. Coach, you got to be thrilled with having that many guys and being able to see them on the big stage, right?
Yeah, the Winter Cup is kind of that mid-year reevaluation of the national team talent. They'll allow the guys who are on the Olympic team a pass through, so they'll stay on the national team through August. But they'll re-rank the bottom level after the Olympic team, and so there's spots available. Plus, we've got, I think, 5 of the 6 guys that we signed for next year are going to be either at the Elite Team Cup or the Winter Cup competing in Louisville. So we'll actually have a fairly large Oklahoma representation there.
Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule for the Sooners presented by the Trails Golf Club in Norman. At the Trails Golf Club, you'll experience everything you love about golf and more. So kind of a little bit of a break when we talk about Winter Cup for many of the athletes. Then Nebraska and Cal. And then you've got William and Mary in Greenville. Then it's the Mountain Pacific Sports Federation Championship and the NCAAs. Coach Goncharov, I'll start with you first. Where do you feel like this team stacks up? Stanford, they're the 5-time reigning national champion. You've already seen them once and beaten them here in Norman. You'll get them at the MPSF and again at NCAAs. Kind of size this up from how you see it.
Listen, anyways, I told you before, all this for count format now is closes that gap, you know, and you can see many teams now so close, you know, and all that tension. Every competition is getting harder and harder, you know.
Yeah.
That's why it's a great moment now to see who is capable to work under that pressure.
Makes it fun, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I thought the last 2 weekends have been great. You know, just a great environment, big wins for us. You know, we lost to Illinois, Michigan, and Stanford on the road last year, and then we returned the favor to them this year by beating all 3 of them. The other teams that were in the top 6 was Ohio State. We beat them at their place, and we'll be going to Cal soon, and Nebraska's the other team that was in team finals last year. So we'll meet all 5 of the top teams before we get to conference, and then it's going to be, you know, who can have a great day there at the conference championship, and then 2 weeks later at the NCAAs.
NCAAs will be in Ann Arbor, Michigan this year. Mark Williams, Valery Goncharov will be there, and Kelton Christensen, we thank him for being here tonight as well. Guys, we appreciate it.
Thank you
very much.
Men's gymnastics, the top-ranked team in the country. Up next, another top-ranked team in the country, KJ Kindler, and some of the Sooner women's gymnasts join us. It is The Huddle coming to you live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue in Norman.
Log on to Soonersports.com/kids for information about joining the Sooner Kids Club presented by OG&E and brought to you in part by Orthodontics exclusively, Mathis Home, and Devon Energy. The best place to gear up for game day is shop.Soonersports.com.
Back into The Huddle, coming to you from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue in Norman. Always hosting The Huddle and Sooner Sports Talk coming up in just a little bit. So it is all gymnastics all the time here on The Huddle tonight. We've got head coach KJ Kindler and Audrey Davis joining us now, and we appreciate both of you being here this evening. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks.
Well, coming off as close as you can get, kind of an affair that you had at LSU over the weekend. Coaches, you look back, what are your reflections on it? What did you think coming out of that event?
Yeah, lots of reflections really from it. We were in a really good place. We competed hard. We were not landing well, and it kind of steamrolled through the whole meet. So to explain that a little bit, we count 15 landings, 5 per event on bars, vault, and beam. And we counted 4 stuck landings out of 15. So that is a huge amount of points we missed out on. And if you went back, that's probably where we could have, reeled in the win. So that's definitely something we're considering. But also, it was a really crazy environment to be in. I thought it was energetic. Like, it was full, over 13,700 people.
Gosh.
And it was very loud. When we went to Beam, it was very loud. And I think a couple people got a little rattled. We have a lot of freshmen and newcomers in that lineup who have never been in a situation like that. And so when the floor score, they weren't doing it to distract us, but when the floor score for LSU would come up and they liked it or didn't, it didn't matter. It was so loud. And if you watch the meet again, when Lily does her series on Beam, it really exploded. She did a good job of reeling herself back in, but it was a lot to handle. And I think being in that environment was very helpful for us. We learned a lot from it. We also went into Beam with a lead, so we were competing well throughout the meet. We just, let it go there a little bit at the end.
Audrey, what has it been like? And you all have long been the show in women's collegiate gymnastics, and you've been on the road this is your first time in the SEC, but you've been to these SEC environments in the past as a non-conference meet. What has it been like, though, in the heat of conference, where every time you go on the road, it's going to be like it was the other night in Baton Rouge?
Yeah, I think we do a really good job at embracing that. We're really enjoying that many fans, that many people coming out to the competitions. It's absolutely amazing. And we use the energy. We love the energy. So having 13,000 people there was absolutely amazing. And it just brings out the better competitors in us, and we have a lot of fun with it.
Take us back through winning 2 individual championships last season. What was it like for you, kind of being at the top that night? Even though your team had not won a championship individually, you were able to win those 2 national championships.
Yeah, I think it was a very proud moment for myself. I think I did great, but at the same time, I'm a team player. Our team didn't do the best, so that was something that was on the forefront of my mind the entire time. I didn't really think about the individual aspect of it. I was just going out there and doing my gymnastics for my team to see where we could end up.
What has it been like to watch her grow as a gymnast, as a young lady, as a person since she arrived here in Norman, Coach?
Yeah, well, first of all, she walked in so mature to begin with, but she's done nothing but grow. She's been a pleasure to coach, very coachable young woman, very grateful, as you just heard her talk about, very selfless, always putting the team in front of herself. It's been amazing to coach her and to watch her, and I've been honored to do so. And she will be our student coach next year. So she had mentioned to you on the break. Yeah, that's awesome. I know. She had mentioned to you on the break that she wants to possibly coach college gymnastics. Well, the first step in that is to become a student coach or a volunteer coach somewhere, and there's no better place than right here where she made her mark.
Absolutely perfect. What has the environment been like for you for these years, and knowing that you're going to continue to be around it?
I think it's so fun. I love gymnastics. I absolutely love the sport. It's the best sport in the world, if you ask me. So being around it my entire life and wanting to continue to be around it in the future is something that I've always dreamed of. And being able to change people's lives and help them grow in the sport and grow as people is something that I would love to do. I look up to KJ a lot in the way that she treats us, and she just makes us better people. She makes us grow. She allows us to learn every single day, and that's what I want to do. I want to be able to impact other people like she does for us.
How vital has it been to have performers like Audrey and other veterans? Because as you mentioned, you have 6 freshmen on the roster, 4 of whom are in the lineup on a fairly regular basis, a couple of all-arounders who are doing this on this stage for the first time. How valuable has it been to have experienced gymnasts like this?
Yeah, of the top 15 teams in the country, we have the most freshman routines, 40%. So that is a huge number, but we also have these amazing veterans who have been leading them, and they wouldn't be as successful as they are if they didn't have these veterans to look up to. They really wrap their arms around them. They've taught them the ropes. When we were at LSU, they have never been in an environment like that, so that was all new to them. And I thought the veterans did an amazing job, just, kind of talking them through it and being great role models. We wouldn't be as good as we are if we didn't have that balance, to be honest.
How do you try to impart that? You know, Addison Feta and Lily Peterson, the first time that they're going through a lot of this, how do you impart that wisdom and knowledge and kind of keep them cool in these pressure situations?
They're absolutely amazing gymnasts. I mean, like she said, they've gone through so many things. Everybody comes from different places. So just being able to be there and help them calm down whenever they're going out there, talk to them like we do in practice, kind of make it feel like it's not just so much all the time, you know, making them relax, dance, sing, doing whatever to have them calm their nerves and just have fun with them is something that they enjoy and I enjoy. So I think that's the best thing.
You know, we see what happens when a meet takes place. What's the competitiveness like in the gym on a day-to-day basis? How would you describe it, Coach?
It's not competitive. Obviously we're all pushing each other, but it's friendship. It's like they are incredible teammates and they want each other to do well. I think you can get when you have such high elite athletes all in one room, there could be jealousy. It could get very competitive in not a positive way. But these guys push each other. They want each other to get better. They want the team to be the best it possibly can be, and they know that means every single person getting the best out of themselves. So it's very positive push in the gym.
899 wins as a program. I was just reading through that statistic. Yeah, are you all even aware of such thing? You got a chance at number 900 on Friday. Do you all keep track of national championships, awards, and wins, and all those sorts of things?
I mean, not
No.
that.
National championships,
I mean, yes, we know. We can count to 6,
Yeah.
okay? 899. I mean, I haven't been keeping tally
Sometimes
marks.
you're like, who even keeps track of all of those things? My
Lindsay.
gosh. Lindsay does keep track
Yes.
of them. Fortunately, you've got somebody to keep track of those
Yes.
things. It's going to be, a challenging weekend because you've got 2 meets within a span of 3 days, Audrey. How do you prepare your mind and your body mentally to go through that type of grind?
Yeah, I think we go in the gym and we do routines every single day whenever we're in there and just making sure that we're doing the best we can outside of the gym, relaxing, doing the things that we can, preparing for the weekend, getting our homework done, sleeping well, drinking our water, doing all the things that we know how to do that'll make us better gymnasts, and just getting the rest that we need on those off days will help us whenever we're going out there to compete those 2 days. And it's you know your body, you know your gymnastics, so going out there and trusting yourself and trusting your training, trusting that you're prepared and going out there and doing what you know how to do is what we need to do.
It's a little bit more like a postseason situation, right, Coach, where you've got multiple nights you've got to go out and compete within a span of a short time.
Yes, we always have one double weekend every year, and it's for that exact purpose, to prepare us for the postseason. A lot of teams don't do this, but it's definitely been something that we believe in pretty wholeheartedly. But to answer part of your question, too, the workload is important. Like from a coaching standpoint, we have to spread out the workload knowing they're having a double weekend. We also have to do a little protection for our all-arounders, making sure they're getting enough recovery, both mental and physical. When you're doing 4 events every weekend, it can be tough. Mm-hmm. And so just making sure that all those little boxes are checked going into a double weekend is very important.
You won national championship on beam and bars individually. Do you have a favorite routine, favorite rotation? Coach is very interested.
I love beam. It is my favorite event.
Why is that? Tell us why. Why is?
Well, I actually training beam and competing beam it's a lot of fun. I mean, I love bars too, obviously. It's fun flying in the air, but beam, I think it's very impressive what we do. I mean, I don't know if everybody knows this, but the beam is smaller than an iPhone. Like, you look at the beam and
is that true? Wait a minute.
Yeah, if you put your phone sideways, the beam is smaller than your phone. And I don't think a lot of people know that, and I think it's a very impressive event to be able to do, and so it's definitely a favorite of mine.
And
Good answer.
Good answer. That's acceptable.
It.
Yeah. That's Audrey Davis. She's a 7-time All-American, 2-time national champion individually, and a part of the top-ranked Sooner team. So good to have you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to talk to Jordan Bowers coming up. She's standing by. She will take the stage next. This segment was presented by Taco Mayo. Big appetite, bigger savings. Download and save today. This is The Huddle coming your way from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue on this Monday night right here in Norman.
The Huddle is brought to you by
Taco Mayo. Big appetite, bigger savings. Download and save today. Air Comfort Solutions. Your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today.
We are back at Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue on this Monday night here in Norman. We're talking gymnastics, and this segment of the program is presented by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. Hopefully you've made that winning call because it's supposed to be 2 degrees here in the next couple of days. We hope everybody stays safe and everybody is good, and gymnastics can go on as planned and as expected coming up on Friday night as Oklahoma welcomes Florida here for another SEC showdown. And we're joined by Jordan Bowers. Head coach KJ Kindler is here as well from the #1 ranked team in the country. Jordan, thanks so much for being here.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Yeah, what has this season been like from your vantage point?
Yeah, this season's been truly special. Like, we are such a close team. So everybody going out there and just doing their best and seeing how hard that everybody works in the gym and going out there and seeing all of that hard work pay off, it really is truly special. And we're all doing it together, which is the most amazing part.
What is it like from your vantage point to coach this student athlete?
Oh, gosh. Kind of easy.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, she's super talented and works so hard every single day. She's very inquisitive. Like, after every turn on beam, she comes to me and wants to know, what did I do? How was that? Always looking for feedback. And a lot of athletes aren't like that, you know? So she just really wants to get better all the time. And it has always been like that. And not only that, she just doesn't make a lot of mistakes even. So very easy to coach.
Where does that come from, this desire to want to be coached? Because as Coach Kindler said, that's not in everybody.
Yeah, I've kind of always been like that ever since I was little. Pretty independent. I've always been in gymnastics. I used to dive, so also like kind of an independent sport as well. So I've kind of just always had that drive to always want to get better and just do every little thing possible that I can.
Describe it from your perspective, the culture of Oklahoma women's gymnastics and what things are so important to you.
Oh gosh, especially when getting recruited, and that's like one thing that you really look for, you know, the culture and what part of that program and that legacy that you want to be a part of, and that's something about Oklahoma that really stood out to me, and I just had to be a part of it. I committed on my visit in 8th grade. So
8th grade?
Yes.
Wow.
I knew it was home, and it was always the dream to compete as a Sooner, and I'm just so blessed to be here.
So how many, that we're talking about, that's like 8 years ago, Coach Kindler. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, she was about half the height she is now. Yeah, back then we could recruit very early. Now they have changed those rules, which I think is smart. You know, it's very hard for an 8th grader to decide. I'm glad to hear she doesn't regret her 8th grade decision.
Not at all.
And obviously, when I went into the gym to recruit Jordan, I go all over the country. I see gymnasts all the time. This was somebody, I walked out of there and I said, we have to have her. She could do every tumbling pass imaginable in that workout. I was like, what is happening? And then I just said, I can fix beam. I got this.
Yeah.
She fixed it.
You were on the low beam the whole time. I don't know if you remember it. And I'm like, I'm sure she can do that on the high beam. She's got that.
Yeah, how hard was it to go to the high beam?
Not very hard. I mean, I'm kind of scared of the low beam, actually.
But she just was so talented. It was so obvious to me the potential was unlimited there.
Jordan, Gymnast of the Year in the Big 12 last year and now in the SEC. What's it like going into these environments? You kind of been there before, but every time you go out there, like Coach Kindler was talking, 13,000 people at the Maravich Center, maybe hooting and hollering while you're in the middle of a routine. Not that they're, you know, purposely trying to distract you, but what's it like as a competitor?
Yeah, you know, some places are purposely trying to distract you, but, you know, you got to let that go and just do what you know how to do. And I'm a pretty intense competitor, so just staying in my zone and staying within the team, and that's something that we really talk about too, is staying within us. So making sure that, you know, we're with us, we're not with anything else, any other distractions that are happening around us. So being in those environments and week in and week out is truly something special, and being a part of the SEC, you know, we've been in a few of those meets before, but being a part of it is really incredible.
There's an old saying in athletics, and I suppose in a lot of things, that tradition never graduates. This tradition is incredible. 6 national championships. How do you take it upon yourself? 6 freshmen on the roster, 4 of them in the lineup, 2 all-arounders already this year. How do you take it upon yourself to make sure that tradition gets passed down?
Yeah, each team every year is a new team, new year. So, you got to treat it as, it's a completely different year, no matter if you won the year before or not. So bringing them in and making sure that they understand, those types of things, and to let things go and to create your own team and create those legacies together.
What lies ahead for this team, Coach? We're getting down to, just a few more meets, and then you get to the postseason. The SEC championship is going to be, you think about the talent and the high quality of gymnastics that'll be there, and then the national championships. It's kind of right here coming up quickly, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the first goal was to fight for a spot in the evening session for the SEC championship. They have an afternoon session, evening session. One team won't make it at all. And if that came down today, it would actually be Alabama and the meets in Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a fight to the finish. All the schools are so incredibly good. So that's kind of the first thing. But we have, Florida, an incredibly talented team. They will be vying for a national championship. Olympians on their team. I mean, it's a really talented team. We have that this weekend, the double weekend, as you mentioned, but we're still going to Auburn. It's already sold out.
Wow.
The meet's already sold out. And we're still going to Georgia, and that they have had an incredible resurgence this year. They've moved up over 10 spots in the rankings, so they are definitely coming up in the rankings. This is tough. And then Michigan Senior Night at home, which I know that Jordan's probably looking forward to. We get to say goodbye to these 4 amazing women, and that'll be on March 7th. So, I mean, it doesn't end. It's just bam, bam, bam all the way through SEC championships and then the postseason. I mean, there is no rest.
Yeah.
There is no rest.
And the schedule that we're about to show is going to illustrate just that. And the schedule is presented by the Trails Golf Club in Norman, where you'll experience everything you love about golf and more. Florida, then a day to travel down to Fort Worth. Is that at Dickies Arena, Coach Kendler? Or where is that?
No, it's in the Fort Worth Convention Center.
Convention Center. Okay, so Sooner fans that may be headed down there, or if you're watching down in the DFW metro area, that's where you need to go on Sunday, correct?
Yes.
Yep. And then
2:30.
2:30 on Sunday. But most importantly is Friday night, pack the Lloyd Noble Center, right?
Yes, that's incredibly important. Just walking away from LSU professionally, this is the environment I would love to create at the Lloyd Noble Center. And certainly it's not for lack of effort, but we want that environment to exist here in Norman. We want to have that environment for our student athletes. And so that's something we've been really pushing to do. We're working hard to make that happen. And certainly our women appreciate that kind of an environment.
Yeah, what is that like when the crowd gets lit up? And it's a show. It begins 15 minutes before the actual competition begins. What's the night of a performance like for you?
Oh, it's just such a surreal moment. And Sooner Nation has also come so far since even my freshman year. We have consistently 8,000 people, which is so many. But, we can definitely do better, especially going to those other places too, and just all coming together. And it really is so amazing to be in the Lloyd Noble Center.
How do you both articulate the margin of victory, the fine line that there is? I mean, we're talking about a meet that was decided by less than 1/2 of 1 point over the weekend. How do you describe just how fine a line that is? And national championships that you all have been involved with have been 1/10 of a point or less in the past. How do you describe that, Coach?
I mean, they're won by the very smallest of margins, and so your crowd can make a gigantic difference. The energy in the building can make a huge difference. We talk about the domino effect in gymnastics all the time. It can go one way or it can go another, but when you're at home and you have the crowd behind you like that, the chances of that domino effect being positive and just stick after stick after stick, I mean, you just see it happen all the time. So that kind of energy can make a big difference, but it's won by 1/10 of a point, usually less than that, usually much less.
Yeah, how about from your vantage point?
Yeah, I mean, it can literally come down to a toe point or a slightly bent knee or something. So the little details is what matters most, and that's what we focus on day in and day out of the gym, is focusing on those little things. The big picture is always going to be there. We do these routines every single day. We've been doing them for so long. So those little things are what matters most, and especially in those moments as well.
We talked about Audrey and what she wants to do. She's going to be a student coach. What's on tap for you as the competitive part, so to speak, or at least the collegiate competitive part comes to a close for you? What's next?
Yeah, so I'm going to work with strength and conditioning with football and basketball. So that's something I've always wanted to do, especially, helping athletes get to their dreams and get to where they want to be. I've had so many people help me get to where I am today, so having them and helping them get to where they want to be one day is truly going to be amazing, and I would love to be a part of it.
You don't really have to say goodbye to her at the end of the year, right, Coach?
No. She's still going to be here helping us out in different ways.
It'll be wonderful to still have her around. As you all head down the home stretch, of this season, what's important? What are the things that you would like to fine-tune, in order to make sure that you all are up there on the top of the podium at the end of the year?
Yeah, I would say just doing what we do every single day in the gym and making sure that, we don't make any moment bigger than ourselves. We do it every single day, and it's no different when you go out there. So making sure that we're just doing us and we're making those little changes that we need to do and just having full confidence in ourselves and having fun together.
Coach Kindler, you echo those sentiments?
I do. Winning practice is important.
Winning practice.
Because eventually it's going to pay off. It may not pay off this weekend. It may not pay off next, but when the national championship rolls around, when the SEC championship rolls around, those numbers that we do in practice, winning practice, that's gonna show up. And so we really do focus a lot on our work ethic and what we do every single day.
And the next stop on the road to a championship is on Friday night at the Lloyd Noble Center when Florida comes to town for another SEC meet with the top-ranked Oklahoma Sooners. Coach Kindler, thanks for joining us. Thanks to Audrey, who is somewhere, and Jordan, we appreciate you being with us as well.
Thank you very much.
We'll come back and put the finishing touches on this edition of The Huddle in just a moment at Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue in Norman.
Thank you to our Cornerstone television partners, OU Health, OG&E, Fowler Auto Group, and Coca-Cola.
Thank you so much for watching The Huddle from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue in Norman, presented by Air Comfort Solutions, your total home solution for plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical. Make the winning call today. I want to thank KJ Kendler and the Sooner women's gymnasts and Coach Mark Williams as well, and the Sooner men's gymnastics program. This final segment presented by Didier Ranch. Tradition tastes better. We've got Sooner Sports Talk, talking Sooner men's and women's basketball in just a couple of moments from Rudy's.
The OU Huddle has been brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality. And by Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Sooner Sports Network.